Greetings and welcome back to the channel, guys. All right, folks, it's Necro time, okay? Update 50s here. We got some class passives now. Necro's looking not great, but better. Better. Not quite as good as some of the other classes, but I got a nice build that I really like playing. I enjoy this playstyle a lot. I would like to share that with you. So, yeah, let's just stop yapping and get straight into it. So, health-wise, 30K, pretty decent. I'm usually not the kind of guy to really push the health, but if that's your kind of thing, you can do that. But honestly, I would say you don't really need more than 30K health. 20K stamina, 17K magicka. Nothing here is really important. You can even that out to be like 19 on either side or whatever, or whatever you feel comfortable with. But this works well for me. I think you could probably drop the stamina a little bit because Necros have really good stamina sustain this patch due to the new class passives. But yeah, that's up to you. Recoveries here, 1200s on either. No health recovery, of course, because we are vampire. And yeah, decent. This of course goes up with our necro passives, summoning certain things, drinking a potion, being in Cyrodiil. I think overall we're gonna end up like 1800 or something like that on both, which is very nice, very decent. Our spell damage here, I think realistically you could be looking at like 6k buffed in Cyrodiil, maybe a little bit more depending on the situation. So not like crazy high damage, but this more of a combo build, not so much a build that relies on just like one very hard hitting skill. This is more a combo build. So if that's your kind of style, it's going to be the build for you. Um, the spell resistances, they will go up to I think 25k in Cyrodiil and 23k. Yeah, 25k in Cyrodiil and 23k in Battlegrounds. But we have damage mitigation on top of that too. So fairly okay, not super tanky, but fairly okay. Um, we are a vampire, and I would highly suggest you run Vampire Stage 3. I've let it drop now a little bit. But yeah, I tested it with Vampire Stage 1. It works. Vampire Stage 3, you're gonna be a little bit more tanky. But if you have um issues sustaining, I'll talk about the sustain portion in a little bit because there's a very specific kind of play style that you kind of want to internalize a little bit that will help you sustain on this build because it doesn't have like, even though we have decent sustain, you have to still kind of work for it and get it right to really be able to sustain long term in a fight. But yeah, if you feel like you can deal with it, definitely go stage 3 here, get that extra damage mitigation. And yeah, that's going to be it. And jewels are misrule here because we got the health and we got both recoveries, which are very much needed. I would really suggest using this one unless you like somehow can sustain okay with without that. Um, you could go either Witch Mother's Potent Brew or maybe a Dubious, or you just go with the Sugar Skulls. But I would really suggest you take this one because the regions are kind of needed. All right, so that's the stats. Let's look at the gears. So what are we running? What is this magical build? Why am I liking it so much? Why am I having so much fun? All right, let's just get the typical stuff out of the way. Of course, we're running a trainee chest reinforced, the Gallant Chain. Everybody should have it because with the front bar, back bar, mythic, monster set up, that's like the kind of thing that you want to do because you always have this like one slot open, and this slots in nicely. This is the most armor you can get on a armor piece, so that's kind of a no-brainer. Then we got the monomyth here. What can I say? You know it, you like it. Major force, minor berserk, on the front bar, and then major protection, minor vitality on the back bar. So yeah, offense and defense, and then you get the minor vulnerability and the minor timidity, which are debuffs for you, but they're usually not really. You can deal with it. You can deal with it. So yeah, the sets we're running rushing agony. Okay, so rushing agony, you know the set. You do a gap closer that deals direct damage, and this could be anything. Could be streak, could be a dragon leap too. You wouldn't want to use this with dragon leap, but like could be a dragon leap. Um, sword and board gap closer, um, two-handed gap closer, or like any pull ability would basically do this as long as it does direct damage, right? You need an ability that does direct damage. And I always use this with Crit Rush or Stampede because it works well. And you're going to see in a second why we're using Stampede, because it just synergizes well with the build. But yeah, that's how you proc this thing. What it does is after a short time, it pulls people in. And then after just a little bit more time, it explodes outwards and hits everybody around you. The nice thing about this thing is that the pull from this set will not apply CC immunity, which means you can still CC the target after it's been pulled, which is kind of trolly. When I first ran this build, I actually had 2 pulls on. I had the scribing pull and this one. So I would basically double pull people. But the timing's kind of off, kind of weird, and it ultimately wasn't as great and as funny as I thought it would be. So I kind of dropped that. Now we're not doing that anymore. But you could if you wanted to. If you want to double pull people, you can definitely do that. And outside of that, just a pretty nice set. Get some recovery, get some damage, get some penetration. Really nice all-rounder, really. Just works well. The other set that we're using on the back bar, Mara's Bomb. Okay, you know Mara, very, very strong. Let me show you. There you go. You can read that a little bit better. So overall, just a defensive set. The 2, 3, 4 piece, not like the greatest thing. Armor, okay. Crit resistance, okay. Not the biggest deal. Healing taken, yeah, sure, whatever. But the 5 piece is really where it's at. When a negative effect is removed from you, you restore 1300 health. And this is basically, I mean, could be a purge, but when people reapply a negative effect on you, right? So when they just recast something on you, that also counts as it being removed, because they basically remove their old effect and replacing it with the new effect. So every time that happens, and that happens a lot, you basically get that heal once every second, right? And then when you take damage and you have 6 or more negative effects stacked on you, you basically heal for 1300 per effect removed. As far as I can tell, and that's probably also why a lot of people use this set, this is not capped. So if you have, like, if you're 1vxing and you have a ton of effects on you, and you're like on the front bar, right? Because we have Mara on the back bar. You have a ton of effects on you, and you swap to the back bar. All these effects get cashed in, right? They get purged, they get cashed in, and then you get a giant heal. I think the biggest one that I've seen personally was 40k. 40k. I mean, you can do the math. Okay, you can do the math. That's like 30 negative effects or some shit like that. Yeah, if you have a lot of negative effects stacked on you, and you swap back to that Mara bar on the back bar, it cashes in. It gives you giant heal, which can really help you. This can really help you because you will notice this. Sometimes you're taking so much pressure, you're about to die. You weapon swap, not even thinking about Mara at this point. You're just like, I need to survive somehow. I got to get to my back bar. I got to cast something. Blah, right? You swap to the back bar, and all of a sudden you see your health just go back up. And yeah, that just allows you to just keep going. This can happen once every 30 seconds. I'm not sure if there are any like exploits. I think there are exploits. I don't know how they work. I think there might be something that interacts with the purge CP. I feel like I heard something about that a while ago. I'm not sure how it works and if it works. I would highly suggest you don't exploit if you know how it works. Just don't do it, okay? Just be a nice boy or a nice girl. Just don't do it, okay? But anyway, that's Mara on the back bar. And then for the monster set, we're running Orpheon, which is, it's a really interesting set. I like this thing a lot, actually. So, while in combat, casting an ability that leaves an effect on the ground, summons a tentacle. And then after 2 seconds, the tentacle swings, and it deals very little physical damage, and it stuns up to 6 enemies. So this can be beneficial already, just stunning people. This can already be beneficial. But the real thing, and that's what you kind of want to use it for, is when your enemies are already immune to stuns. Like if they're already immune, they take the a very much increased amount of physical damage instead of getting stunned, right? So if they're not stunned, low damage and a stun. If they're already stunned, if they already have CC immunity, they get a high amount of damage and no stun. So that's kind of what you want to use it for, because that stacks, of course, with your Rushing Agony. And the way we're using this, of course, is we're using Rushing Agony to gap close in with Stampede, which leaves an effect on the ground, which will then trigger the Orpheon, and then both of them go off roughly at the same time, giving you nice bursty proc window. And then you can stack that. Of course, you're on the Necromancer, you have your Blast Bones. So if you time that right, the Blast Bones can go off at the same time. You can pop a Dawnbreaker on top of that. So if you do it right, you basically get both procs, Blast Bones, Dawnbreaker, right? This is a lot of damage. It catches people off guard, especially in no CP. The CP are actually really doing a lot for people's survival. So when you're in no CP, you notice that, yeah, a lot of people just, that combo just takes them out. So really, really nice. When it comes to the traits here, I don't have perfect traits. I'd recommend, of course, reinforced on your trainee piece here. You always wanted that, and then probably just impen unless you want to do like well fitted maybe for some dodge and sprint, which can help. I have kind of a mix here. I didn't transmute them. I got some impen. I got some well fitted. This one's divines. This one's infused. Yeah, I just recommend all impen really. That's it. And then on your jewelry, you want infused with weapon damage enchants. Wouldn't do anything else, to be honest. Just that's kind of what you want, because you want to push the damage a little bit, because both sets scale with weapon spell damage, and of course the weapon spell damage is going to help you just do more damage with your skills and also get more healing. So that's definitely the way to go. I have a battle axe. I would probably recommend, if you have it, because I don't have it, running a maul, two-handed maul, if you can get it in sharpened. I have a battle axe in sharpened. It's not bad. Battle axe gives extra crit damage, so it works out too. Like, it's just not really a big deal. But sharpened definitely on the front bar. I got shock damage here, just to proc that minor, what is it, vulnerability or something from shock. And then on the back bar, I got an infused resto staff. Now we're not using any resto abilities, but I still like having a resto staff on the back bar for one main reason, really. You benefit from the resto passives. You get benefits from the resto passives. They will, like, even without using skills, the heal increase from resto on certain passes will still apply. Plus, a heavy attack on the resto is really nice because it's a channel, right? It locks onto the target. It's a channel, so you can keep that up even when people are rolling. You can keep that up, which helps with sustain, right? And yeah, it's just good. I like it. So I'm a big resto on the back bar guy, and it's usually always infused with a weapon damage enchant. And what you want to do is you kind of want to pop this every once in a while. You're on your back bar, you're casting stuff, and you're getting ready to go back on your front bar and be offensive. You kind of want to just give them a little poke, just a quick little light attack here, just to proc that enchant, get that extra 450 weapon spell damage, and then you go in. And yeah, just remember to repeat that every 5 seconds. Yeah, that's the gear. Let's look at the skills. All right, so first one, your bread and butter DPS, basically Blighted Blast Bones. It's cheap, it hits hard, it's wonky, but it's nice, and it gives you Major Defile, which is very, very important in my opinion. That extra heal reduction really helps. The less people can shield or heal, the better it is for you. That's pretty much it. You always want to keep that up. Like, I would say, like, as soon as your Blast Bones explodes, cast a new one. Cast a new one, and yeah, just keep them coming. Keep them coming. I wouldn't suggest waiting for, like, oh, now I'm gonna set up my combo. Just keep them popping. Just keep them popping. When you're ready for the combo, usually you only have to wait like 1 or 2 extra seconds for your Blast Bone to be ready again. that should be okay. But just keep them coming. That extra pressure, like every like 3 seconds, they just get hit by a blast bones. It can really help. It keeps the defile up. It keeps them pressured. They lose a good chunk of their health, and they have to deal with that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend just keep it up. Next one is Dazing Soul, Scribed skill. We got the stun here on this one. We got the Necro passive, the Necro thingy, and we got the Major Breach. So the Breach, of course, is really important for your penetration. The stun is really important for the combo because, as I said, Orpheon will do more damage when the target is CC immune. So you kind of want to stun them, give them the CC immunity, and then make sure that the Orpheon hits. So the way I usually do it is I gap close in with Stampede, right? First I do Blast Bones, Stampede in, Rushing Agony procs, Orpheon procs. Then I hit them with the Dazing Soul that stuns them, and then once the Orpheon explodes and they're CC immune, it's gonna lock in the big damage. But if you fail to do that and the Orpheon goes off and they're not CC immune, then the Orpheon is just going to stun them. And either way, they're getting stunned. Of course, optimally, you do the stun so that Orpheon gets the higher damage proc. But yeah, just outside of that, just good to have a stun, I guess, because Necro doesn't really have a good stun in their kit. If you don't want to use the Necro scribing passive here, you can go for something else that seems better to you. I personally don't like it that much, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll just leave it in there. It creates a corpse too, which is nice because you need corpses. This is not a corpse burster build, of course, but you still need corpses because you have abilities that can really benefit from having a corpse. And I'm going to talk about it in a second regarding this sustain. So, yeah. Next one, Arterial Burst. Kind of an iffy one for me. I need something spammable that I can use after my combo to just like finish people off or just like keep pressuring people. And I tried a couple different ones. Honestly, none of them really wowed me. Like if you want to use the scythe here, you can. I'm not a big fan of the scythe. It's more expensive. It does less damage. You get the heal from it, but the heal is not really what you want. You have tons of healing on this build. Like that's not attractive to me. So I want something that's a little bit more spammable, like in terms of cost, and also does a little bit more damage. Arterial Burst does that. If you want, you can go with the other morph, which costs health to use, but will ultimately potentially hit harder. I'm not super comfortable with that. I gotta be honest. So I'm using the Magicka one. But if you do the health one, and you find yourself in situations where you're not getting pressured a lot, where you are the guy pressuring, I guess Blood for Blood would be fine to use if you don't have to worry about your own, health pool, and you feel safe enough. You could use that one to potentially get more damage. But yeah, for me, Arterial Burst. Then, of course, Stampede. That's the gap closer. It's nice to have a gap closer in general, but this one will proc our 2 sets because it leaves an effect on the ground, which was going to proc the Orpheon set, and just it being a direct damage gap closer will proc the Rushing Agony set. That's pretty much it. That's all you want to use it for. Closing the gap, keeping up with people, especially with Sorks streaking. You can just keep stampeding them. Just keep up with them so that they can't get away. Because most Sorks, man, they're probably gonna run out of juice, streaking before you run out of juice, gap closing them if you do it right. The next one, Skeletal Arcanist. Not a great summon, to be honest. This thing is really just for the Major Brutality and Sorcery buff, which you need. You could use scribing for that. The problem with the scribing buffs is they only last for 10 seconds. So, I opted out of using scribing for the weapon spell damage buff and just went with this one because 20 seconds is kind of like a fire and forget. The damage from this thing is really just, it might as well just not be there. The damage is very low. The tooltip is very low, which means that the actual damage that you do to a player is, I mean, maybe half if you're lucky. More likely, you're doing like a third of it. So this thing might hit for between like, let's say 500 to like maybe 1,000 damage on a player. It really isn't much. The fact that it's AoE also doesn't really do anything. So this thing is really not for the damage, it's just for the buff. If you want to use scribing, absolutely go ahead. Keep in mind it's only going to be 10 seconds of a buff. But if you put other interesting stuff on that scribing skill that you might want to just cast more regularly, then yeah, absolutely go with the scribing skill. Next one on the front bar here, Dawnbreaker. Yeah, just cheap, stuns, deals damage. Which this can also be used to just stun a group of people, so that the Orphean, already has CC immune targets to hit and hits them for more damage. So that kind of ties in. And as I said, you do the blast bones, the gap closer, rushing agony goes off, Orphean goes off, and then you hit the Dawnbreaker on top. It all comes in like a very tight little package. That's a lot of damage. You can take out groups with that. So yeah, really, really nice. On the back bar, this is our main heal, Blood Sacrifice. Now, a lot of people would use the other morph, and you can. The other morph will give you some resistance based on the amount of health that you've healed. Why am I using this one? I actually can't tell you. All I can tell you is this one feels better, but I don't know why it feels better. Um, it might be just because it consumes a corpse and heals another person, and that makes it more reliable in hitting you, potentially. Maybe that's what it is, because the other one can actually hit someone else, and then it's not going to hit you. So if you're about to die and I need my heal, and you pop this thing, and then little Timmy runs in front of you, and little Timmy has less health than you, little Timmy is going to get the heal, and you're going to bleed out, and you're going to curse little Timmy for the rest of your life for doing these things to you. But it is what it is. This one, I don't know. It feels better. I tried the other one. I think it's the same cost, but I feel like I sustain worse on the other morph. Like I said, I can't explain it. All I can tell you, the other one didn't feel good to me. This one does. Try it out. Maybe you have more success with the other one. All right, next one. Necrotic Potency. This one you could potentially use as like a flex spot. You can put something else there if you would like it. What this does is, I mean, it siphons corpses. It will give you ultimate, and it will heal you for a little bit. The healing is kind of it's not great. It's not great, but it's okay. It's okay. You get a little bit of like a mini heal over time, and that's really it. But you get the ultimate, which can be really helpful to just get your Dawnbreaker back up, or maybe charge up more ultimate for your Ice Comet or something. This definitely works a little bit better in PvE, because you have usually more bodies on the ground in PvE that you can siphon, and you can get a ton of ultimate out of this. So if you have a lot of bodies you can siphon, this gives you a ton of ultimate. So potentially, when you're like on a resource, or you're taking a keep and you kill a lot of guards, and you have a lot of guard bodies on the ground that you can siphon, you can use your Dawnbreaker, kill the guards, and then kind of siphon it back in, and maybe get your ultimate back. So did you have another Dawnbreaker for the next engagement? So this is it's really nice for just the ultimate sustain. But if you don't feel like you need it, just use whatever you want. This is more of a flex spot than anything else. This one's really important though. Mortal Coil. This is your heal over time. It heals you quite a bit. But the really important part here is it restores magic and stamina every 2 seconds to you. So this is additional sustain. You get extra healing done while it's slotted too, but the really important thing here is that you keep this up at all times. And because it makes a big difference. You can tell when this thing is not up, because you're going to be running out of resources fairly quickly. Which is weird. This is always the thing I notice on the Necromancer. Runs out of resources fairly quickly, even with high regions. I don't know why. But yeah, this definitely you want to keep it up. And you want to pair this with this thing here, the Summoner's Armor. Um, the last sentence here is really important. If cast during combat, you can cast a corpse consuming ability on yourself. So what this thing will do, it can basically put a corpse on you when you cast that while you're in combat, which means you can use Mortal Coil on yourself, which means you can take that effect with you. Normally, when you tether that to a body on the ground, um, the tether has a certain uh, reach. It says 41 meters, which is a lot. But if you move out of the range, the tether is going to cut off, right? Or sometimes when you walk behind like an obstacle, sometimes the tether can cut off. This will not happen with this little trick here. It's not a trick; it's just intended. But you put the corpse on yourself, and then you siphon yourself, and that way you can just take that heal over time and that nice sustain with you wherever you go. And you should really try to internalize this, because this is one of the most important things you have to do on any necromancer, or this build in specific. um yeah, keep that in mind. Practice that, make that a habit. Get your summoner's armor up, put that corpse on you, and then siphon the corpse. As I already said, Summoner's Armor, this is your major and minor resolve. Really nice. Uh, cost for your summons is reduced, which, yeah, it does help. It's not great. You can use the other morph too if you want. I find it kind of useless. The other morph, basically, what it does is when someone attacks you from range, the armor will basically pull them in, but you have very little control over that. I see tons of people attacking me from range, and this thing just doesn't pull them in for one reason or another. I don't know. So the other morph, kind of trolly, not super useful in my opinion. The next one is Spirit Guardian. This is your little healing ghost. Lasts for 16 seconds, heals you for a decent amount of health, but the reason we're using this one is because you get the 10% damage mitigation while this thing's up. And this is important. For a tanky build, you can use the other one. The other one has a shorter duration and will heal you for twice as much. But this one's easier to manage because you don't have to recast it that often, and you get that 10% damage mitigation, which of course stacks with your protection, stacks with your vampire and stuff like that. So, and all the other uh, mitigation passives that you might have. So this just slots in really well. I would recommend this one over the other one. And then next one, you can use whatever you want here. You can use the Big Daddy, the Colossus if you want. I'm using Ice Comet, so I have a little bit of like a ranged option, because I don't really have a lot of range. This one here is the only range thing, really, Dazing Soul. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So Ice Comet, just to be able to drop an ultimate on people that are a little further away. Maybe someone who's running away or something. Pop an Ice Comet, maybe shoot him with the stun, and be able to finish them off. Or potentially just I drop like a Blast Bones into an Ice Comet over range if you want to hit like a couple people standing at a flag or something, but you don't want to engage really. But you can use whatever feels good to you, whatever you feel like using. Could of course go for undo or something like that if you want to do the tower running garbage that a lot of people do, or you just jump off and then people jump after you and then you just undo back up onto the tower. And yeah, feel free to do whatever you need to do. But yeah, that's the skills. Let's look at the champion points real quick. Green Tree is, as always, Gifted Rider, Warmound, Sustaining Shadows, Steed's Blessing. Doesn't really matter. No one cares for it. In the Blue Tree, Fighting Finesse, Backstabber, Biting Aura, and Master at Arms. So these two area of effect attacks, of course, you have a lot of AoE. And this one, direct damage. You have a lot of direct damage. Kind of a no-brainer. This is, of course, very offensively minded. There's some defensive passives. There's some healing passives here too. I see a lot of people using them. I personally never do that. I just build for offense. more than anything else, really. But yeah, if you feel like you need to change something, do that. But this is the recommended setup for the offense here. And then in the red tree, Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Sustained by Suffering, and Pain's Refuge. Sustained by Suffering. If I wasn't on a Necro, I'd probably switch this out for Survival Instincts. The reason I have it on the Necro is, like I said, Necro always feels a little rough with the sustain. And any little bit helps. So Sustained by Suffering, it's very easy. When you have a negative effect on you, this thing is going to be active. You're always going to have a negative effect on you when you're fighting. So this is always going to pop in. Gives you another 150. And if you do the coil trick, where you put the corpse on yourself and then siphon yourself with the coil, you're going to get a 170 from that. And you know, that's just like these little bits really help get your sustain up to a level where it's manageable. And I've been able to sustain with this build for quite a long time in fights, but you got to play it right. You got to play it right. You got to keep your tether up. Want to make sure that this thing is working. You also get certain sustain passives from having your summons up. So by doing that, you're going to be fine. And that's basically the build. I'll leave you with a couple clips so you can see how this thing is played. I hope you like it. I really enjoy this playstyle. This is very fun to play. One of the most fun builds I've played in a while. Because it fits right in with my playstyle. I like gap closers. I like these little like bursty proc combos and stuff like that. So yeah, try it out. Let me know what you think. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed it. And if so, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me how good I look. You don't have to. I know I look good, but it's nice to hear it every once in a while. Anyway, hope you have an amazing day. I'll catch you next time. Take it easy. Bye-bye. No skill to back it up. Oh, baby. That was so friggin' close. Gotcha, bitch. Surprise, motherfucker! Oh, dude, I couldn't break out of that. That was so rough. Dude, this man is so busy beaming. He doesn't even remember to heal himself. I'm stuck. Where am I? Jesus fucking Christ. I got stuck behind the tree. Got him. Surprise, motherfucker! Get the ball back! Play my game. That also helps. Really? You had to do that? Oh, baby! Oh my god, they never see it coming. Oh, baby! Baby! Oh, baby! Oh, here comes the next. Oh, man. Me and the werewolf buddy here. Cleaning the house up, man. Fucking cleaning team. Ooh.